Your Terrorist is a poem written by Ali Alizadeh that describes the struggles and hardships experienced by Muslim/Middle Eastern people fitting into Western society. It is written from a tired and defeated perspective, and by the end of the poem, the poet comes to a grim acceptance of what he has seen by many other people: a barbaric monster, a terrorist. I've been defeated, dispossessed, and now detained in the cages of your metropolis. The poet clearly wants to depict Western civilization as a cage that ensnares people from other cultures and forces them into a more routine way of living. And he uses the metaphor, cages of your metropolis, to represent this. In another line of the poem, he uses the metaphor, me, I'm naked, to represent his vulnerability. As well as a metaphor, this verse could be seen as an oxymoron, given that to many of us, a Western metropolis is the epitome of freedom, the direct opposite of a cage. However, the poet has clearly had a different experience. Your logic proves I'm a primitive at the mercy of your civilization. At this point in the poem, Alizadeh puts himself almost at the mercy of the West, painting himself as a primitive, almost weaker being, evoking an emotional response from the reader. Proves I'm a primitive is also an example of alliteration. O master, I understand what you want your filthy slave to be. Again, this verse displays an almost defeated, broken mentality. The poet degrades himself by seeing himself as nothing more than a dirty, filthy slave. This verse also displays hyperbole, given that in real life the poet is not a slave. However, in an understated, diminished way, he could be seen in such a manner. The word barbarian is also used quite poignantly in the poem, notably at the beginning and the end. The poet makes use of repetition here to make this key idea clear and relevant to the reader. Your shackles are called security, your war operation freedom, your cluster bombs food parcels for my children. This verse is slightly cloudy, and its meaning can be misinterpreted. However, I believe it refers to the bombing in the Middle East, specifically Iraq and Afghanistan. I believe that the cloudy nature is deliberate, so that the poet can take advantage of the ambiguity. Your Terrorist is a poignant and thought-provoking poem written from the perspective of a Muslim man that displays the struggles and suffering of a Muslim man trying desperately to fit into a Western society that constantly rejects him.